Okay, so this video is just about momentum. So first of all, what is momentum? It is a quantity of mass in motion. Okay, so that's just strictly the definition. And then we have a formula. So formula P equals mv. So P is momentum. And then the units are kilograms times meters per second. And then M is mass. Those units are still kilograms. V is velocity. And then those units are still meters per second. So if you look at this, the reason that momentum has the units that it does is because mass is kilograms. That's the first little bit. And then velocity is meters per second, which is the second part. So momentum is just strictly taking the units of mass and the units of velocity and multiplying them together. And we've kind of done the same thing before when we did newtons, but they came up with an abbreviation for that. They called it newtons. Newtons are really something funky with kilograms and meters per second squared and stuff like that, but they abbreviated it newtons. This time we just don't have an abbreviation. So that's the formula and the variables. So now I'm going to go over how to solve problems with basic momentum. So first, we have three cases. We have, if I gave you mass and velocity, you would solve for momentum. And if I gave you mass and momentum, you would solve for velocity. Or if I gave you velocity and momentum, you could solve for mass. So I'm going to go through each of these three cases. So given mass and velocity, let's say M is 50 kilograms, velocity 2 meters per second. Okay, so I'm going to just, exactly like we've done with F equals MA, I'm going to write my formula and then identify all my variables. So P is the one I don't know. M is 50 kilograms. V is 2 meters per second. And then I'll go plug all this in. So P is 100, and then remember your units, kilograms, meters per second. Okay, so it works exactly like F equals MA, it's just a little bit different letters. Okay, and then ordinarily I'm not going to just give you mass is 50 kilograms and velocity is 2 meters per second, but you can identify them in your problem based on the units especially. So if there's a number with kilograms, it's going to be mass. If there's a number with meters per second, it's going to be velocity. So the next one, given mass and momentum, let's say the mass this time is 6 kilograms and the momentum is, let's go, negative 18 kilograms meters per second. I'm going to do the same thing. Write down my whole formula and identify each variable. So the momentum is that negative 18 kilogram meters per second. M, 6 kilograms. V, I don't know that yet. So I'll go plug all this in. And then to solve for V here, I'm going to have to divide. And I get negative 3 meters per second because its velocity is V. And remember your negatives. That was in the reading. Velocity has direction, so that means that momentum has to have a direction. So it's going to be either positive or negative, and it's important that you have that sign in there. Okay, and then the last case, given velocity and momentum. So let's say velocity negative 3 meters per second, momentum negative 15 kilogram meters per second. Okay, so I'm going to write my whole formula. Momentum is negative 15 kilogram meters per second. M, that's the one I don't know. V is -3. Okay, so then go plug all this in. And then I'm going to have to divide to solve for M. So divide both sides by 3. Oops, sorry, it's a -3. Okay, and I get 5 kilograms is my mass. Okay, so those are really the only 3 cases when you're just calculating basic momentum like this. So keep those in mind, and it works exactly like F equals ma. You're either going to multiply or divide. Those are the only choices, and make sure you remember your units, and that will help you identify what number you're looking at also in your problem. And then it's important to have that in your answer, and to make sure that the units you end up with match what you were looking for. Like I got kilograms, and that goes with mass, so that's what I was looking for. So just make sure you include your units.